Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar, SEO Today, Now What Does Google Want? Presented by Jennifer Ellis. My name is Stephanie Phelan, and I'm a marketing manager here at MyCase, and I will be your host today. I'd like to give you a few tips about participating on GoToWebinar today. The webinar control panel is on the right-hand side of your screen. This is where you may submit questions and where you'll see the polls come up throughout the presentation. We save all of your questions until the end of the presentation. That's when Jennifer will answer what we've collected throughout the webinar. Also, please note that we are recording this webinar and it will be available by the end of the day tomorrow on the MyCase blog, and it will also be emailed to all of our registrants. Today's webinar is hosted by MyCase, so before we jump into things, I'd like to give you a quick overview. MyCase, web-based law practice management software, takes care of your daily practice requirements for calendaring, contact management, document management and templates, time and billing, client communications, custom workflows, and more, all in one solution at an affordable price. MyCase is priced for solo and small firms at just $39 a month per attorney and $29 a month per paralegal or staff. In our next slide, we also offer websites for our customers. Modern professional design built for your firm, social media and blog integration, and best of all, complete integration with your MyCase practice management software. Now you and your customers can log into MyCase directly from your website. Last but not least, we enjoy hosting educational events for professionals in the legal industry, and that is why we're here today. So now let me tell you a little bit about our presenter. Jennifer Ellis is an attorney, educator, and online marketing consultant. Most of her focus is with online marketing, but when Jennifer practices with her firm, Lowenthal and Abrams, involves legal malpractice and ethics. She is also the author of the recently published book, WordPress in 1 Hour for Lawyers. When Jennifer is not working with attorneys to improve the efficiency and viability of their practices, she can be found playing with her adorable Labrador Retriever, Curtis. Curtis is quite popular on Facebook. He may just have taken some pointers for Jennifer, so let's see. Thank you for being here today, Jennifer. I'm going to hand the mic over to you now.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, Curtis follows me all over the web. It's pretty funny. I think he's more famous than I will ever be. I'd like to thank you so much for hosting me today. I'd like to thank almost 200 of you who are here today. This is my first time doing a presentation purely on SEO because normally I do CLE, and you can't, of course, get CLE for pure marketing seminars. So I've put together a pretty detailed presentation. Hopefully we'll get through it all. If not, you can get the slides on my website, and I've given you two different links. Just go to my blog, though, jlellis.net, and you'll be able to find them there. So today's webinar, what I'm going to be talking about is what is SEO. My main focus will be exactly what is it that Google is looking for, because of course when we talk about SEO we're mainly talking about Google. I will also spend some time on social media and its impact on search engine optimization. I'll talk about advertising a bit, and I will also talk about hiring an SEO firm. So let's talk about the first poll. Do you SEO?
Okay, great. I just launched that poll there, and you can see the options of yes, no, kind of, or what's SEO. So go ahead and put in your answers there.
I have an audience in my office. Do you SEO? No, she's shaking her head no. So should I move on while we're waiting for the poll answers, or should I wait?
Okay. Wait 1 moment. 1 moment. We're going to close the poll and share the results. Okay. Great. Okay. So we see our results here. 29% say yes, I do SEO. 28% say no. 37% say kind of. And 6% say what's SEO.
Well, that's not too bad. 6%. So moving on from there. Let's get into it. So what is SEO? What do I mean when I talk about SEO? Well, SEO means search engine optimization, and fundamentally what it means is how easily can people find you on the web. Now, most of the time when we're talking about SEO, we're talking about where do you show up on Google for the key phrases that people might use when they're looking for an attorney in your area of practice. You want to provide as many ways as possible for people to find you, and you want to go wherever your potential clients are. So it's not just going to be Google, it's going to be Facebook, LinkedIn, and other sites. And also you might want to use pay-per-click or other forms of advertising such as through Google, Facebook, or other relevant sites. So basically that's what we mean when we say SEO. The thing about SEO is Google really changed it about 2 years ago with the introduction of new algorithms. It used to be actually quite easy to get to the front page of Google no matter where you were. It just took someone who could write the content in the right way to trick Google into putting your website first. They would often do something called keyword stuffing, which is a repeated use of the same keywords in the content. Frequently, if you would read a website, it would be very difficult to make sense of what it was trying to say. Often the links to the website, which were a huge part of how you showed up on Google, they were often unrelated directories, links from very poor quality sites, and also they were often purchased, which already violated Google's terms of service. So Google changed its algorithm, and it wants high-quality, relevant results. So when people are searching for something, Google is looking to match the phrase or the word that the person is searching for. It looks also for location. So are you local to the person who's searching? It penalizes people for bad links, sites for bad links. It punishes sites that engaged or are currently engaging in what are called black hat techniques, and it penalizes keyword stuffing. So given the changes in the algorithm, there simply is nothing more important than high quality content that includes the relevant phrases when you're talking about search engine optimization. Some terms you might hear from people when they're talking about SEO would be penguin, that was a change in Google's algorithm impacting links; panda, that was a change in the algorithm impacting content; and hummingbird, which is the newest change, and that involves the fact that Google recognizes that most people search by phrases as opposed to by simple keywords. This is not about a program about web design, but I do have to mention that your site needs to be properly designed for Google. You have to make sure it's properly coded, that it's organized well, that you submit site maps and webmaster tools, which I'll explain in a moment. Your site needs to be easy to read, easy to navigate. It has to be searchable not only by Google, but by the users when they're on the site. It must be fast loading. People will leave your site very, very quickly if it does not load within a few seconds. You need to be sure to use calls to action, and by that I mean encourage people to call you, email you, fill out a contact box. That's what we mean by a call to action. Personally, for most of my web design, I use WordPress. I like using it because it's relatively easy to create a website, and it's very useful for search engine optimization because there are a lot of very useful plugins. Now, you might wonder why Google matters, and I came across this data, and I've given you the sites for it. Currently, there's almost 12 billion searches per month on Google, and those searches are done by almost 1.2 billion unique users. That's almost 70% of the U.S. market, and I'm not going to dwell on it, but you can take a look at this chart on this slide and see how much the searching has increased since 2007. Google's really been around since about 2006, 2005 in terms of it as the dominant high-quality search engine that we know it is today. So where do you rank? That's the question. How high up do you show for relevant phrases on Google, which is the big one, Yelp and Bing, which are also popular but not as important as Google? Your focus is generally going to be on Google. Yelp and Bing will normally sort of follow along if you're doing well on Google. A term you might hear people say is SERP, which means a search engine results page. So when an SEO person tells you we're wondering about your SERP, they're simply saying where do you rank for these phrases or keywords that will bring potential clients to your website. Your results will vary. So, for example, if someone says to you, hey, I see you on the top of Google for this search, and you look at the same search and you see different results, it's not that the person's lying. It's that in different cities, in different locations, even in different offices, if Google thinks you're in different cities, you could get different results. The rank is also going to be impacted by the order of words the person uses, whether it's local search, in other words, the use of the city name, or again, in a specific location, whether someone uses quotation marks. Really, any way the person searches can alter the results that you're going to get. So here's a search result, typical search result, which I'm sure you've seen. The search I used is, how do I get custody of my child? Now, I'm in Pennsylvania, and this slide got a little messed up, I'm sorry. But you can see on the top, you have ads. You have normally 2 to 3 ads on the top, and then you'll have a number of ads on the side. Those are, people are paying for those. And then underneath that, you'll see the results. You'll see I also have some different stuff on my site for link analysis, but that's not relevant to you. That's a tool I use. Now, if I change the site, you'll see the first search is how to file for custody, 8 steps, father's custody rights. Now, if I go to the next slide, see I changed it, how do I get custody of my child in Philadelphia? You see the results have changed. First of all, not as many ads. And second of all, the results are quite different. Now we have a Philadelphia.gov site, a courts.phyllis site. So as you see, just a slight change in the search has completely changed the results. Now, how do you identify keywords and phrases? This is very important. And the way I suggest people do this initially is think when somebody comes to your office for the first time or is calling for a consultation, think about what phrases the people use when they're asking you questions. Those phrases are very likely the keywords they're using when they're searching the web. So that's what I recommend you think about initially. You can also research what people are searching with a free tool that is available in Google AdWords, which is at ads.google.com. And this is how it works. You go to what's called the keyword planner, and you can choose to search for new keywords and group ideas. You can search for volume, how popular are specific keywords. You can get traffic estimates, and you can add different keywords and get ideas. So this is how it works. What you do is, in this case, I tried Philadelphia divorce lawyer. You are going to send it to a specific landing page, which means you want to send it to the page related to the area of practice. You should always send people to the specifically related pages when you're doing something in AdWords or you're doing something somewhere else, because people are going to be expecting to see a page devoted directly to whatever it is that you're talking about, in this case, divorce law. So let's say your website is your general practice law firm and you're advertising or doing posts on divorce law. You're not going to send them to your main website.com. You're going to send them to website.com/divorce law. You want to make sure you do that. You choose the legal product category, and you can filter it. For example, you can have negative keywords, which would prevent your results showing up when people use certain keywords. That's especially useful when you're trying to save money in ads. And then we see some results. These results tell us some suggested keywords. It also shows us the level of competition, and that's something to think about when you're doing search engine optimization. Sometimes it behooves you to focus not on the most popular keywords, but on less popular keywords that could be very successful for you, because you have a better chance of getting to the front of Google if you're doing a search, say, for grandparents' rights in Philadelphia than for Philadelphia divorce lawyer, simply because Philadelphia divorce lawyer is a much more common search, so more law firms are going to try to reach the top of Google. So just think about the competition and try to go around it by using less common phrases. Google does offer a lot of help. You can look at a number of the links that I've provided here. Again, you can get these slides. Matt Cutts, you'll hear his name sometimes. He's in charge of web spam at Google, and he does frequently release videos and blog posts that offer recommendations or kind of let you know where Google is going. And every time, anybody who works in SEO should know about Matt and should be very aware of whatever it is he is saying every month or every few weeks, because the information he provides can help you glean, if not exactly what Google is doing, you can get an idea of what's going on. Now, backlinks are a big issue. I will say that one thing that Mr. Cutts has said is that over the next couple years, Google is going to minimize the value of backlinks as it focuses more and more on content. However, right now, backlinks are very important. And all a backlink means is it's a link from another website. The quality of the backlink is much more important than quantity. If you have a lot of really bad, irrelevant backlinks, you will not do well on your search engine results. Also, if you have any black hat stuff going on, for example, you hired a couple SEO firms over the years and they purchased links and you've got 30, 40,000 bad links, which sounds like a lot, but certainly not impossible. I've seen it. You could end up with what's called a manual penalty, which is Google actually either removing your site from Google or pushing it down several pages as a way of punishing you for engaging in what's called a black hat technique. In the old days, people used to trade links with one another, and they still do it. People will do guest blog posts, which is unfortunately starting to be an issue. Google seems to be trying to shut the door on many ways of obtaining links other than through providing good quality that people just simply want to link to in an organic way. Another way we used to get links were from articles and sites such as eZine and Patch. You would write an article and then you would link it to your website. Apparently Google is starting to smack these down as well. So it has become very, very difficult to get high quality links. How do you get backlinks? Well, the first thing is you write high quality, unique content. If it's unique, people will link to it if it's not something that they can find anywhere else. So you want to approach things from a different perspective. Sharing content throughout the web, you want to make sure you're sharing your content everywhere you can through social media, through advertising, through encouraging other people to share it. That can get attention and can drive more traffic to your site, which in turn can encourage more people to link to you. This is an infographic. An infographic is simply a graphical rendition of a concept. The one I'm showing you is actually from MyCase, and it is their concept of where lawyer websites get in trouble. And people often share infographics. MyCase actually emailed this one to me. It emailed it to everyone. It just happened to be coincidentally done about a week or two before the seminar. And this is something that people will share and link back to your site for, so it's a great way to get links. You can also look where your competition isn't, where their links are coming from, and see if you can get links in the same place. And I'll discuss how to do that. If you can write for newspapers online and exchange, they'll give you a link. That's great. Directories are still okay as long as they are high quality directories and they are relevant to your area. You can also ask people for links, but again, the problem with that can be if you're trading links and you have too many links, so you have a link on A site and A site links back to you. You have a link on B site and B links back to you. That can become problematic again because Google doesn't like that anymore. So I get a lot of requests for links, and that's what a lot of people recommend, but I'm cautious to do it too much because I do think Google will not be too happy with me if I do. How do you check the links? How do you look at other people's links and make sure your links are okay? There's one site called Ahrefs, and I'm probably not saying that properly. You can buy, you can do some of the stuff for free, but generally these services cost money, and they're not inexpensive, anywhere from $80 to $100 and some odd dollars a month. But they will give you information about your links, where they're coming from. Moz.com is also very useful for a number of things, not just links. And what you can do is you can see both your links and the links of your competition and maybe glean some information from there. Link Detox is very good. It gives you some advice on whether your links are good or bad. I've used it myself when trying to audit and clean up other sites that have had problems with their links. Link Detox is actually quite expensive, but if you really want to do an audit of your links, it's extraordinarily useful. There's what are called follow links and no follow links. A follow link is a link that has what we call link juice. It impacts your rank with Google directly. So if you have a link from CNN and it's a follow link, that's an especially valuable link because Google is going to recognize that link as high quality. On the other hand, a no follow link does not directly impact your rank. in that it doesn't give you any link juice. But what it does do is it can increase the traffic to your site. And the more traffic you have to your site, the more Google rewards you. So you shouldn't dismiss no-follow links out of hand, but you have to appreciate that they have a different impact on they impact your SEO in different ways. So just keep that in mind when you're looking for links. How do you deal with bad links? Well, what you're supposed to do, the first step, is to ask the site to remove the bad links. Some sites will, some sites won't. In fact, some sites, which were engaging in black hat, meaning they were selling links to people, are more than happy to require you to pay to get the link removed. So black hat one way, black hat the other way, I guess. You can disavow the links with Google. There's a disavow tool. I have written a blog post, I probably wrote it about a year ago, on how to use the disavow tool. The problem is it's not entirely clear how well it works. I have seen a number of sites recover from a manual penalty based on bad links, so clearly Google is using it. Generally what you do is you identify the bad links, you put them into a text document or an Excel document, and then you upload them using this disavow link that I'm providing to you here under Webmaster Tools, and then it tells Google, we don't want these links, we don't want you to use them as part of how we determine where we should rank. And utilizing this service, many sites that have had a manual penalty from Google have been able to recover. So I certainly think it's something to use if you have a lot of bad links. I will say to you, a couple bad links is not the end of the world. You don't need to focus them on them too much. We're talking a lot of bad links being a problem. So you don't need to focus too much on it unless, again, you have hundreds, thousands of really bad links, then you're going to have an issue. So let's move on to content. And before we do, I'd like to know, where do you get ideas for content? And I'll hand it over to our host to take care of the poll.
Yes, where do you get ideas for content? So you can select one of the following: clients, reading, day-to-day life, or what content. So go ahead and put in your submissions now. And we'll give you just a couple more seconds. And we'll go ahead and close our polls. Okay, and you can see our results here for where we get our ideas for content. We have clients for 16%, reading at 48%. We have a lot of readers out there. Day-to-day life, 25%, or what content? What do you think about that, Jennifer?
Well, I think that's interesting, and it's kind of what I would have expected. I get many of my ideas for content from the first three. I hear what content a lot from my law firm clients. Content is crucial, and that's one of the first things I said to you. So what I recommend to firms is find a way to write content, and it's better if you can write your own content because it's in your own voice.